All right, back on the record in the Simpson matter. Mr. Simpson is again present before the court with his counsel, Mr. Shapiro, Mr. Cochran, Mr. Bailey, people represented by Ms. Clark, Mr. Darden, and Mr. Kelberg also present. Is Mr. Gordon. Counsel, is there a matter you need to take up with me before we resume?
Very, very brief, Your Honor. Your Honor, with regard to witness lists and some discovery issues, the witness list we've been getting has been at best fluid, changing, ebbing as the tides go each hour, if not day. The ability to prepare for such is next to impossible. That was difficult enough when we had the civilian witnesses with that type of testimony, but whereas we are moving into this arena of scientific evidence with this fluid witness list where we have different personnel involved, coupled with the fact that we are receiving reports that on work that was done literally months and months ago, dated today, dated yesterday, and those reports contain numerous issues that are going to have to be litigated. One, it's not complying with discovery. Two, I don't think it's...
Want to give me some specific examples?
Just a moment. Specifically with regard to reports, speak of the recent reports we received from Dr. McDonald and Drs. Lee, both of which contain information that, one, with regard to preparation, without knowing when these witnesses are going to testify, when we have other DAs have to do it. Pardon me? Secondarily, there's all sorts of experimental type of information contained that is going to require litigation. Counsel should know that. Ms. Clark informs me we just received a report today from Dr. Rader, and in getting these reports, there's no specific time when these witnesses are going to come to testify. So the ebb and flowing witness list, coupled with this type of discovery at this date, is A, I think, not fulfilling with the court's orders, and two, it's going to take a lot of court time, our time, and making it very difficult to be prepared and ready to go for the court.
All right, well, I see Mr. Douglas is not here, who is our discovery compliance person.
What we'd like specifically, at least, is a concrete witness list in compliance with the court's order, so we can prepare what is occurring, not at 6 o'clock on Sunday, we may call some people, or sometime later today, a cryptic remark, but a specific concrete list. Thank you, sir.
Good
morning, Your Honor. That sounded very similar to what we were always saying when they were putting on their case, didn't it?
Deja vu
all over again, Your Honor. A trial, I guess, they said, is a dynamic process that does, in fact, change. The court will recall that last week, Mr. Douglas, over my objections, gave them 24 witnesses. He was so far out in front, it was amazing. We did cover 22 witnesses last week. Then we dealt with Mr. Kelberg, and we've been stymied yesterday. Because I want to move this trial, we're going to be, and I told Mr. Darden just before we came out, perhaps he didn't talk to Mr. Gordon. I told him who the witnesses will be today. They know who the witnesses are today. I'll be glad to tell them. I told them that we decided to move Maltz back because I don't want to spend the rest of this week on doctor's testimony. It doesn't mean anything, and we want to move on. And so I'll be glad to cooperate with them from that standpoint.
Motion to strike, Your Honor.
Well, I'm talking, Your Honor, so. At any rate, so that's the point. And I think with regard to the discovery, Mr. Douglas will be here just in momentarily.
All right, counsel, I'll meet with counsel at the noon hour, and we'll hammer out the schedule for the next several days.
Sure, we'll be glad to, Your Honor.
All right.
Can we place on the record, Your Honor, what is the witness list for today?
Oh, sure, I'll be glad to, Your Honor, as best I can. I think that after this witness, whenever he's finished finally, we expect to call Juanita Moore, counsel's aware of. We expect to call...
We can offer proof as to Juanita Moore. We have no idea.
Your Honor, may I address this? Juanita Moore, I expect to call Mr. Mraz, Kelly Muldorfer, the LAPD officer, Mr. Walsh, the man who made this video, and why we're wasting all this time. I think he'll clear that up for them. We expect to call, we're going to see at lunchtime, photographer Rokar. We'd also like to talk to Willie Ford, the other photographer who did the civil liability video. There may be one that I'm missing out on, Your Honor, but we always try to have more than enough witnesses for the day. So I think those are the witnesses that Mr. Darden and I talked about. In fact, Rokar and Ford, he said he's going to try to make available. Oh, and we'll be calling, probably right after Juanita Moore, Officer Don Thompson, the officer who handcuffed Mr. Simpson at like 12 o'clock on June 13th. He was here yesterday. So they know who the witnesses are, Your Honor. And
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, the one other issue to be resolved before we invite the jury to come back is the comment that's in this tape. And the record should reflect that this morning I met with counsel, Mr. Shapiro and Mr. Kelberg, and viewed the laser disc outtake on 3 different occasions, and the court recollects having seen that outtake on 2 previous occasions. And I'll hear argument from counsel regarding the admissibility of that statement by Mr. Simpson.
Your Honor, perhaps should the court have that played just briefly so we can, it takes just about 2 minutes, I think.
Well, the reason we played it 4 times,
Well, just so that everybody understands what the statement is.
I'm the only one whose opinion counts here, Mr. Kelberg.
Well, that's for certain, Your Honor. The statement then, for the record, involves the trainer beginning an exercise in which he's making punching motions with the left and right hand, and the trainer begins by saying, "You better watch out, O.J." and or words to that effect. And Mr. Simpson.
Better look out for this left.
For this left, the court wrote it down. I'm going to need my notes then to.
That was an exercise to try to save time and not viewing it again.
What he says is you got to get your space in if you're working out with the wife, if you know what I mean. You could always blame it on working out at the time he's making punches with the left and right arm. That's Mr. Simpson is making it. Your Honor, the court, of course, is well aware this video was made less than 3 weeks before the murder of Nicole Brown Simpson. This court has heard testimony of domestic violence involving Mr. Simpson and Nicole Brown Simpson, and has admitted such evidence as it may relate to intent and to motive. Mr. Simpson's unscripted remark reflects his state of mind, his attitude towards his wife, his attitude towards striking his wife. You can always blame it on, in essence, this exercise, this workout. Now, everybody laughs in the video because this video was made before the murders. If this video had been shown the day after, or had been shot the day after the murders, and Mr. Simpson made the very same remark to that trainer that he makes in this video, I don't think there's one person who's exercising with Mr. Simpson or one person who would watch that video who would be laughing along with Mr. Simpson. It is so close in time to the murders, Your Honor. It is so directly related to striking his wife, which is exactly part of the evidence to show intent and motive relevant to premeditation and deliberation. If it is an offhanded remark that is not intended to reflect his true state of mind, the jury may so find. I don't think they'll find that, not given the proximity in time and the other evidence of domestic violence. So it has substantial probative value on Mr. Simpson's state of mind. And let's face it, Your Honor, his state of mind is a big issue in this case, both with respect to proving identity and with respect to proving premeditation and deliberation. And so on the basis of the threshold for admissibility, I submit to the court it has substantial probative value, and its unfairness or its possible prejudice is what? That the jury will think, what? That he beats his wife, or that he thinks beating a wife is something that's of no consequence. Well, isn't that exactly what this is all about? His intent, his motivation, his relationship with his wife, and whether it serves to prove that he is in fact the murderer and that these murders are first degree rather than second? So I submit that there is substantial probative value, and it is not substantially outweighed, as the code requires, by undue prejudice. I'll submit the matter, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Shapiro.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your Honor, fortunately, we had a chance to view the tape on 4 occasions this morning, starting at 8:30. And the court will recall that this was said with a smile on Mr. Simpson's face, that the people who heard the remark were chuckling at it, that it was clearly a remark made in jest. It was taken in jest. Mr. Kelberg has not had the benefit of being here through the entire trial, so therefore he has only honed in on the medical aspects of this case. He apparently does not realize that the only evidence that Mr. Simpson had any physical contact with Nicole Brown Simpson was 5.5 years ago in 1989. And to try to establish some type of linkage between that and 5.5 years later when doing what he describes as a punch, and if Mr. Kelberg would like me to demonstrate a punch, I'd be more than glad to show it to him. But this is just a little arm movement going up and down on each side, far from a punch. And clearly a remark made in jest, clearly something that is potentially very, very prejudicial and no real probative value. It doesn't prove anything whatsoever. Therefore, it should properly be excluded from consideration by this jury.
Thank you, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, the court, in evaluating this statement, must look at the statement in its context, both within the context of how the statement is made here during an outtake from an exercise videotape, plus the context of the facts and circumstances of the case. I have to weigh the probative value, which I find to be substantial, especially given the proximity. I think the proximity is what gives it the most probative value, and I find that outweighs any prejudicial impact, and the objection will be overruled. All right, let's have the jury, please. Let the record reflect that we've been rejoined by all the members of our jury panel. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. All right, doctor, would you resume the witness stand, please? Record should reflect that Dr. Robert Huizenga is on the witness stand undergoing cross-examination by Mr. Kelberg. Good morning again, doctor.
Morning.
You're reminded, sir, you are still under oath. Mr. Kelberg, you were playing a videotape which you have stopped at a particular location at the end of the court session yesterday.
Yes, Your Honor, and my intention would be simply to ask Mr. Fairtlow to start the tape up and to continue watching the videotape.
All right, and before you do that, ladies and gentlemen, the parties have asked me to mention to you that in viewing this videotape, this is the raw footage that was later made into a finished product. There are starts and stops that may not be apparent to you in watching it, so you should also pay attention to the real-time counter, which is in the lower right-hand quadrant of the screen, so that you can note when there's a start and a stop.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, is that correct, Mr. Shapiro?
Yes, thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Fairtlow.
Waiting on Ish?
for the click track.
Let's get her going. We're gonna just start off with a real simple, easy little warm-up. Elevate that heart rate, get a little blood oxygen going in these muscles.
That's the whole point of this, son.
That's it.
Get the blood flowing.
That is exactly it. Just take a nice, simple walk. We're ready to take some arms overhead. All right, here we go. Up and down in front. Let's do it again. Inhale through the nose, big exhale as you pull down. Okay, we'll open legs. Let's go to some calves here. That's it. Before you start any physical activity, I think you really need to warm up these calves and ankles, as well as the shoulders. All right? When we're doing the calf lifts, legs are straight, but knees are soft, okay? How about both shoulders? Ready? Let's go.
Tell you, this calf is really great if you've been sitting on an airplane for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah. Good. Let's bring it on down. Here we go. Reach. Speaking of sitting on an airplane, boy, those backs will stiff and get tight and everything else, huh? Let's take a reach. That's it. Get the upper body involved a little bit. Let's go back that lower back. We'll sit a little deeper here. Keep the abdominals firm. We'll stay still from belt line down. Real good. Doesn't need to be big. Just take one arm overhead. You can really feel all the upper body muscles, huh?
I like all of this. I'm a golfer, and it's that lower back that's a big problem.
Yep. Okay, we're just gonna go a little bit side to side. Start copying some of the athletic event movements that we talked about. Let's take one arm with it. We're just gonna kind of copy an ice skate movement.
Oh, ice skating.
Yeah, see those guys going down the ice, man? They got the legs, rear going on. Let's get a step with it. Kicking those feet up, getting her moving.
Well, in Buffalo, I was ice skating, but it was on the football field.
Yeah.
Now we got that Eric Hyde going.
Yeah,
you know?
get people coming after you, too. Good. Let's hold it right here. Ready, let's go round the back and press through. I'll tell you, men tend to be so tight in the entire spine, the entire back.
Yeah, it's like the Watusi, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't do that much better than this. Good, let's hold her right here. All we're gonna do is take one shoulder up in the air. Just hold her nice and still. That's it. That's it. Good, let's bring it back center. We're just gonna open up this inner thigh right here. You don't need to be real low. Just open this area because we're gonna do a lot of side-to-side movement as well. Good, might as well take the other shoulder up. And just hold it right there. Some of you have been sitting all day, and it's gonna feel terrific. Good, let's bring it back center. We'll open up the other inner thigh. Once again, exercise is fun. It doesn't need to be difficult. Just a little stretch in there. Good, let's bring it center, and we're gonna take it over to a calf stretch. Now, before you do any physical activity, like we talked about before, get those calves loose. We brought some blood oxygen there, now we're stretching it. Let's go down to my favorite OJ stance here.
Right.
What we're actually doing is dropping the hip a little bit, opening the hip flexor. Try to keep the spine real long. See, look at it. Doesn't that remind you when you got out of the blocks there? Boom! Good, let's bring it down to a little hamstring stretch right here.
Now, this is something I would have a little problem with because
Right.
my knee hit the ground. I can't quite do
All we
it,
gotta
so-
do is put both hands right here.
Yeah.
And lengthen back there.
Okay, because this is what I'm working on.
That's it. Let's go down to push-up position. Okay, tight abdominals, tight rear. Let's go. Here and down. I like to throw push-ups in the warm-up just to get some weight on the shoulders and joints and arms.
So we're not really trying to build up with these push-ups. We're just trying to get the blood flowing.
Exactly. And you know what? Practice good, man. You have a lot ahead of you. Let's take it. All right. Let's put our hands behind. Just open up chest here. There we go. Easy lunge side. All right. There we go. We're gonna take it up a little bit more now. Get that heart rate going a little bit. Okay.
Okay.
Before we do, let's add some arms here. There we go. Just squeeze that bicep. There we go. Okay. Ready to take a walk? Nice simple walk. Let's go. Okay, shoulder time. Ready? Hands together. Real slow. Let's go up and down. We'll just keep the hands together. Elbows higher than the shoulders. Speaking of shoulders, why don't we get into the regular shoulder press? We'll go right here. That's it. A couple more like this. All right, now let's go every time. We'll take a walk back. Get her going now. Here, get that heart rate up there a little bit. Overhead. That's it. Good, hands together, elbows high. Great movement right here. Called an upright row. Really good for the back and shoulders.
I
Good.
guess.
OJ, we're facing you when we're gonna get that other calf, all right?
Okay, you got it.
That's it. See what OJ's doing? He's got the heel on the floor, stretching right through here. Doesn't need to lean. The spine is nice and straight. Good, let's take her down to OJ stance.
But I remember the worst injury you can have is what they call an Achilles heel, and this stretches your Achilles.
Tendon. Exactly right. Nice long spines. Pull them out there, you guys, with this knee right over the ankle. Good, let's put the knee on the floor and hamstring stretch. I'm gonna do what OJ did last time, remember? If you can't get the knee on the floor, stay up nice and tall. Lengthen through the back. Okay, let's bring it forward, and we'll roll all the way up, and let's take a walk. All right. Guys, we're gonna get it on a little bit now, all right? Heart rate's high, breathing's good. Ready to go? Yeah. Let's get moving here.
It's like dancing. See what I mean? Get loose, and I feel like going. You know, getting loose juice, as they call it. Woo!
All right. Very good. Very good.
No bullshit there, folks.
All right, let's get her going with just a real simple, easy warm-up here. Remember, the idea behind the warm-up was merely just to elevate heart rate and get a little blood oxygen to the muscles. Nothing too difficult.
Not at all.
Okay, ready for arms? Let's go. Bring her down nice and tight. We'll inhale through the nose, bring her down hard. Good deal. Let's open up. We're going to get a little calves going here. Remember, when we do the calves, our legs are straight, but our knees are soft. And I can't imagine ever starting any athletic event without warming up the calves and ankles.
Yeah, especially if you've been on a plane for 3 or 4 hours, getting those calves loose.
How about both shoulders? Ready? Here we go. Another area where a lot of people hold a lot of tension and tightness. Okay. Pretend you're sitting down. Let's go. Let's go. That's it. Nothing gonna move from the belt line down. Just gonna keep the abdominals firm and an easy rotation. Ready? Let's reach it. How's your golf game?
Oh, this is great. I tell you what, it's your lower back that bothers you when you play golf.
Well, then let's do another one right here. Remember, keep the abs in, you guys. So the spine is lifted. We're real still here. It doesn't need to be big. Let's take one arm overhead. Here we go. The idea behind the warm-up is just merely get all the muscle groups involved. Loosen up the joints and get her going. Okay, here. Up and down. Remember we said we were going to do athletic events? Let them begin. Let's take one arm with it. Ready? Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit of the, kind of like the ice skating time here.
I did a little of that on the football field in Buffalo.
Yeah. Well, it seems to me there are people chasing you.
No different.
Stay nice and low, you guys. Okay, let's go both arms and really just let her go.
Oh,
Let's get
yeah.
Shoulders and back.
Yeah, now we got that Eric Heighton going, huh?
Good, let's hold it center. Here we go. Let's round the spine and press her through.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't need to be big.
Reminds me of the Watusi when I was a kid, huh?
I've been doing a little bit of that, yeah. Good deal. Let's hold it right here. Okay, let's just take the shoulder up nice and easy. Nice hold with this back. Good, let's bring it to the center. We're just gonna open up this inner thigh here. All we need to do is just keep our weight forward. Try to have the spine about parallel to the floor, and you don't need to go real low. Let's bring it center. We're gonna take the other shoulder up in the air.
Oh, that's great.
Feel good on the lower back? Good, let's bring it back center. We're just gonna open up the other inner thigh.
Jeez.
And we're gonna move in all directions.
Yeah, I think if you just did this every day, you'll feel so much better. Just
Yep.
stretching.
Speaking of stretching, never, guys, start any activity without touching on those calves. We talked about it earlier when we got them warmed up. Now we're stretching it out. Keep this knee right over the ankle, okay? Take it down to OJ stance. We don't need to be low here. If you can't get the hand on the floor, this will be just fine. Just want to kind of get a nice long line here and let the hip drop. Good, let's drop the knee to the floor. We're going to take the toe up in the air and extend the hamstring. OJ's doing an alternate way of doing it. That's just taking the toe up and extending back here. We'll bend the right knee and just pull the rear back.
That's because I have a bad knee.
All right, push-up position.
Okay.
Tight abdominals, tight rear. Let's go. I know what you're thinking. Push-ups in a warm-up?
Yeah. It just seems to me that most people do push-ups. They think they're working out and building up mass, but we're just loosening up.
I just want to get some weight on those joints. Prepare you guys, because I got a surprise. Good, let's bring it up, take a walk. Okay, hands behind the back, let's just open up the chest. Let's stretch that out, tighten it up for push-ups. Ready? Let's go. A little bit of lunge, back. Here, back. Remember, we're moving in all directions. That's what you call training balanced. Arms, let's see it.
Oh, yes.
That's it. See, now, if I roll those sleeves up, you're going to see some arms.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Let's take a walk. Here we go. Okay. Want to go back to shoulders. Hands together. Let's go. Here and down. Here's called an upright row. Hands stay together. Elbows higher than the shoulders. Okay, a little shoulder press right here. That's it. Yeah, let's do more than just press. Let's try to lift our entire upper body. Okay, uprights back for 4. That's it. Good. Shoulder press. We're gonna start picking it up just a little bit here to get the heart rate up there a little bit. That's it. Get shoulders, arms up. Here we go. Okay, OJ, we're looking at you and we're gonna stretch that other calf out. See what OJ's doing? He's got this heel right behind the toe. He's got the heel on the floor. He's stretching right through here. Want any pulls in there. Okay, ready to go down to OJ stance?
Well, you know, one of the biggest problems you have as an athlete that you worry about is the Achilles heel tear.
Yeah.
This is good for stretching the Achilles.
Yep. Nice long spines. Good, let's bring it down, hamstring stretch. We'll take the toe up in the air. My leg is straight, but the knee is soft. I'm gonna do the way OJ did before in case anyone else wants to stay in that position. Hands on legs, rear pulling back. Okay, let's rock it forward, roll up, and we're starting to go. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna pick it up a little bit now. We're gonna get it going. Men, you need this every day.
See, I tell you what, just this little warming up, I feel so much better. See, I feel like dancing.
Very good, you guys. Great.
Action. Yeah.
Trying to isolate.
Robert. Bring your rear up a little there, Robert. Your head is up and your face is down. You guys are pulling through the crown of the head. Spines are long and straight. Just for fun, Desiree, bend your left elbow only a little. Bring your entire shoulders down a little bit. That's it. Mike, Robert, great. Robert, keep that left knee straight. So you bring the rear up a little bit.
Look up. See that face.
You guys, look down at the floor. Okay. Head up and face down, spinal alignment. Donna, great abs. Desiree, great. Oop, I can't say that.
Thank you.
Is this going? There we go, Tim.
White way! Everyone settle! You ready, Richard?
Tina.
Guys? And roll tape. We have speed. Action.
Let's get her going. Okay, now a couple times throughout this workout, I'm going to refer to something as a talk-sing test. And all that simply means is if you can't talk or sing, like talk the way I am now or the way OJ sings, maybe you're working a little too hard. I suggest you bring the intensity down.
The very thought of you and I forget to do. Am I missing something?
Hey, your singing is good. Let's add an arm with it. Here we go. This work right up here is called the anterior deltoid work. I think it's one of the most underdeveloped parts of the body. How about both arms? Ready? Here we go. All we have to do is bring the arms parallel to the floor. Doesn't have to be high. How about another 8? How's that feel right here? Got that going on? Tight right there? Good. Hands on hips, let's just step her back right here. Now, one of my favorite sports coming up. Let's go. Actually, it is a great sport. It's a great physical workout. Let's go uppercut. Ready? Here we go. Here. But if you think of it along the lines the way we're thinking of, we can use bicep, lats, shoulders back. And remember, our ultimate goal is to elevate heart rate and get rid of some body fat here and have a little fun doing it.
Right. Without hurting ourselves, huh?
Ready? Let's take a walk. Here we go. Okay, let's do that whole thing over from the top game, but let's add arms. Ready? Here we go. Arms only. That's it. That's it. Now make it a little tighter. You know it. If you feel good, get the intensity up there. Both arms. Don't mind me if I start growling a little bit. Ready? Let's go. Here. Now, OJ, I'm warning you. You come near me, man. This left hand.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you just gotta get your space in if you're working out with the wife, if you know what I mean. You can always blame it on working out.
Let's take a little walk. Here we go. All right. Let's open up legs just a little bit. Shoulder level, hands on hips. Let's go. And remember, you guys, using large muscle groups like the ones we're using right here, not only are we shaping the muscles and strengthening joints, but we're elevating heart rate. And this is going to help us reduce the body fat right here. Arms up. Let's go. Good. That's it. We're going to keep the arms straight, just like we did kind of, like before. Just pull her back real tight. Get a little feeling working right in through here. Lats and shoulders right in there. How you guys doing? Great. All right. You know what? Every time. Let's pick it up. Ready? Here we go. Here. Let's turn our thumb up and bend our elbows a little bit this time. Should feel it right in here. It feels terrific. What do you say, another 8?
Oh, you got it.
Right in the middle, left back.
Works like
right
skiing,
and left.
huh? Yeah. A little over the mogul, huh?
Okay, ready? Let's take it over here. Let's go. Here and down.
Oh,
So yeah, this
do I look
area
like
right
Arnold
here.
Schwarzenegger here, guys? Tell me
One of
about
the most underdeveloped parts of the body. Ready? Let's go. That's it. Get those legs going with it, you guys. That's it. Do your best to bring your spine parallel to the floor. Doesn't that feel great in the middle of the back? Okay, good. Just roll up. Let's take a walk.
All right.
Okay, now, what do you say to practicing a little basketball shuffle? Looks like this. Here we go. We'll step together, we'll step together. Do it again. You ever see basketball players that are way down here? Like that? Okay, let's do it every time. Ready? Here, 2, 3. Good. Just like that. Real simple. Hands up, man. I'm guarding you. My hands are up.
You got no chance guarding me,
Yeah,
man.
watch this pass right here. Ready? Boom. That's it. That's it. Good. If there's a... Let's go here and up.
Oh, like this.
Here and up. This would be a basketball shot, or so to speak. Okay, now every time. Ready? Let's go. If you think about it the way we think about it, it's using all the large upper body muscle groups combined with these. If we have a shot, we have to have a rebound. That's it. Bound, way up. Here, elbows outside, into the side of the rib cage. Every time. Let's go. Here, here. Come on.
Elijah.
Way up on the toes.
Huh?
Whoa.
Yeah, Elijah on, right?
Whoa! Let's walk it down. Nice work. Okay, get ready. To the floor. Like I told you. Tight abdominals, tight rear. Set. Let's go. Here and up. That's it.
I noticed the trainer is cheating. He's on his knees.
Yeah, that's right. Now I'm even on my feet. Okay, head is up, face is down. Abdominals are tight and rear is tight. I have no interest in seeing you do a lot of push-ups, but I do want to see you do them right. You don't have to do them all, you guys. So tight abdominals, tight rear. Heck, I'll do them on my knees. This is another way to do it. Good, I made that last one. Let's take a walk.
Oh, yeah.
Right back into it.
Cut.
And action.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Picking it up a little bit harder now.
All right, picking up the pace.
A few times throughout this workout, I'm referring to something called a talk-sing test. At that point, if you can't talk the way I'm talking now or sing the way he'll do later, I would suggest you bring the intensity down a little bit. All right? Let's go. Here. That's it. We're just going to start off real easy with a little heel back movement.
The very thought of you,
See? I knew it was going to
and
happen.
I forget to do.
Man. Oh. Both arms ready. Here we go. This is working what's called an anterior deltoid upper chest area. Just in case you want to know, I don't want to interrupt your song. Let's go another 8. All we're doing is straight arms parallel to the floor and squeeze right here, you guys. That's it.
Yeah.
Good. Let's step around back. One of my favorite movements. You know what?
Oh, we got it.
Ready. Let's get a little boxing movement going here.
Oh,
That's it. Aside from being a great sport, which I think we all like, It's a great workout. Let's go uppercut right here.
What, feel like Michael Moore?
That's it. That's it. Feel tight. Feel the bicep. Feel the lats. Feel the shoulder. Let's do it again. And remember, don't believe me. I do grunt. Okay, nice easy walk down. Let's do all those movements that we did with arms. Right to the top. Let's go. Here. Here. That's it.
Even I'm beginning to get it, huh?
Both arms ready. That's it. That's it. See, you guys thought this was going to be some dance stuff? That's it.
Yes.
Okay, ready. Here we go. Boom. Boom. That's it. Boom. That's it. Feel the lats. Feel the shoulders. Uppercut ready. Boom. Boy, look at those biceps. I don't mean on you either, OJ. I mean on the guy. Let's walk it down. Here we go. Okay, open up legs. Let's get off this area. Right down here. Let's go. Down and go. Remember, in aerobic activity, we want to maintain a high heart rate. Right? The way we're going to elevate our heart rate or maintain our heart rate is by use of large muscle groups. It doesn't always have to be upper body, but combining is nice. So with that an idea in mind, let's go. Here. Let's keep the arms straight now, similar to what we did before. But this time, let's try to feel right through here, right there, real tight. Right to the lats and back. Real good. Second, start parallel to the floor and squeeze her down. One more. All right, now, upbeat pace. Let's go. Here. Let's go ahead and turn the thumb up and bend the elbow.
Feel like I'm skiing, going over those moguls, you know?
Look like you're skiing. Let's do it again.
Yes.
Hard now. Whoosh. That's it. Okay. Let's go right into the back. Ready? Here and down. That's it.
Whoa. Yes.
This to me is one of the most underdeveloped parts of the body. All right. Let's add some legs up with us right in through here. Right in that middle back. You've been sitting in the office all day. Those shoulders rounding. I know the story.
Got a little Arnold Schwarzenegger working here. Hey.
Good. Ready to roll it up? Let's take a walk. Okay. You guys want to practice a little basketball? Yeah. Let's start with our little defensive shuffle. Ready? Let's practice two this way. 1, 2. Simple, huh? But when you play defense, they're way down here. Ever notice that?
Well, it wouldn't be so simple if you were trying to guard me.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, see? Let's go. Hands up. Let's stay a little bit lower. Here we go. Now, I'll push. Right there. See it again. Hard. That's it.
Then you're passing the basketball.
If we have this, we need a shot. Let's go down and shoot. Down. Use upper body. That's it. Use legs and rear. Every time. Here we go. Here. Good. Here.
Yeah, look at that follow through.
Walk away from the toes. If we have a shot, we need a rebound. Ready. Here. All the way up. Right down the side with the elbows this time. Dig him in the rib cage. Okay, every time. Here we go. Remember those lats we talked about before? Right in there. Go up on the toes. Even harder. Yeah. Let's walk it on down. All right, nice stuff. Surprise. Let's get to the floor, you guys.
Whoa.
Tight him down those tight rear.
I want
Ready?
to see you do men push-ups on knees.
That's it.
Gotta put a little pressure on the trainer occasionally.
Actually, what I want to do is talk about head up and face down for spine alignment. Tight abdominals, tight rear. I have no interest in seeing you do a lot of push-ups, but the ones we do, we're going to do right. So let's get the chest all the way on the floor. You can be on your knees the way I'm doing it, if you would like to. One more time. Good, let's walk it up. Continue on.
I noticed he talked his way out of doing those push-ups.
Way to go, you guys.
Okay, we're rolling.
Did I?
And action.
Okay, up and at 'em, you guys. Let's shake it out just a little bit to loosen up from all those push-ups. Great work.
Yeah.
All right, all set?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's open it up. Here we go. Reach. There we go. This rings a bell, doesn't it?
Just a little bit.
How about one arm? Here we go. Here. You guys have quieted it down a little bit.
What?
Push-ups taking on you?
You know what? We said this is a low-impact workout,
That's it.
but if you look at it, I'm beginning to sweat a little bit here, you know?
Hey, OJ, show them your biceps again. Here we go. Ready? Let's go. Real tight, you guys. Nice. Good, let's take a walk. Ready, here we go. Simple step back, here we go. Here. I love this next move we're gonna do. Here we go, right here. Now this isn't a punch like we did in boxing. This is a lot lower and a little bit tighter. I wanna stay with that chest and shoulder. Both arms, here. See you guys, I told you we're gonna do a lot of movements involving a lot of muscle groups of upper body. One arm overhead, here we go. Reach. Now, you remember we did this in warm-up? We used it kind of as like a stretch and a lift. Now let's put the work into it. Both arms, here we go. Now let's take one arm across the body, we're going back.
Oh.
One arm overhead, here we go. Both arms. Again. Man.
Boy, I don't do a whole lot of this. This is like new to me.
Again. Both arms ready. 2. Good, let's walk it down. Nice work, all right. Okay, remember the talk thing test we talked about? Listen to your breathing. If you can't talk the way I'm talking, bring it down just a little bit. Right? Arms, let's go. Here, down. Now this works the middle section of the shoulder. Madonna's got some great middle deltoids right here. Right? All we need to do is take the arms up parallel to the floor. We don't need to go higher. That's it. You guys ready for a little fun here? Yeah. Let's hold right here, all right? That's it. That's it.
Ready for it?
Point fingers. That's it. Arms nice and long. Relax your neck. Here we go. That's it. That's it. Again, let's go. Here. Okay, let's go. Here and back.
Okay, we got it.
Here and back. Here. One more time like this. Okay, let's take the arms up right here. Squeeze and push up. Let's do a bicep on the way in and push tricep on the way out. Real tight now. Try to have elbow to shoulder parallel to the floor. 2 more like this. More time like this. Good, let's take a walk down. Ready, here we go.
This old heart of mine been broke 1,000 times. I'm still singing, you know.
I'm gonna put a stop to that. Here we go. Now this is one way of doing it. When we do a jump rope, great exercise. Land on the front of the foot, put the heel down, keep the knees soft. You don't have to do this, okay? You can also walk in place. Let's give a turn. Now hands up, ready? Let's see that jab. Let's go. Put your elbow right in your rib cage. That's it. Feel the lats, feel the shoulder. Good. Let's take this hand over the top. Boom.
Oh, yes.
Boom. Keep this left hand up.
It's called the right hand lead.
Okay, combine the two. Start with this hand. Here we go. Here. Oh, I need it harder. Let's go. Very nice. Let's walk it down. Nice work. Now, remember you can walk down like this. I'll take the liberty of walking down. I need a little air back. That's it. And I feel better, so what do? Right back up. And let's give her a turn. Ready? Hands up. Let's go. Right here. You guys, this is not gonna cut it. Come on, strengthen those heart. Let's get going. This hand, ready. Let's go. Boom. That's it. Keep that high and right under the chin.
7, 8.
Find him, OJ.
All right.
Again, OJ.
Hey.
Good. Take a break. Nice work.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Woo.
Let's take a walk. Okay, another idea.
You can walk right now.
We're gonna do some more push-ups, but this time we're gonna do them like this, all right? To the floor. Let's go. Tight abdominals, tight rear. Ready. Let's go. Here.
Who's on their knees?
Yep.
Who went to their knees?
Let's see. Let's see.
This is fun.
This is great on triceps, huh? Remember,
Well,
you
now I don't
do
think
them
I'm
all.
just running blood to the area. I think I'm actually working out.
I need one more time like this. Good, let's get back up for it. Here we go. All right, nice. All right, keep it going.
I love it. Think how good I'm gonna feel tomorrow, huh?
I think we need a comeback here.
Yes.
Okay, you got off counting.
Good man. Good work. Box.
We have speed, action.
Yes.
Okay, let's go back at it. his push-ups felt good.
They sure did. Let me tell you something. This is like a low impact. I'm feeling a little sweat here.
Okay, let's get her moving here. Remember the old hockey movement that we did warm up?
Okay.
Let's get to it a little harder. Here we go. Here. That's it. Up and down. Really use legs and rear. How about one arm with it? Ready? Let's go.
Want to work those buttocks on this one, right?
That's
Get
it.
them out there.
That's it.
Tighten them up.
Let's get the leg movement with it. No, here we go. Here. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay, biceps. Let's see it. Right here.
Yes.
Right there. Right there. Yeah. Nice looking arms.
Ooh.
Good deal. Let's take a nice little walk. Okay, how about our step back? Ready?
Okay, this
Let's
is
go.
interesting.
And we're gonna do this one a little different. This time, one hand. Here we go. Push. That's
Push.
it.
Push. 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 Push.
Both arms. Ready?
Push. Push.
It's just like those push-ups, isn't it?
Yeah. Ah, yeah, right from the chest, huh?
How about one overhead?
Ah.
Remember when we did this in warm-up?
Oh,
We
it
talked
feels
about
good.
doing it to kind of stretch and use the muscle groups. Now we're doing it for the work. Both arms. Really combining upper and lower body muscle groups. Push hard. Okay, one arm across the chest, take her back. That's it. That's it. Both arms across the chest. That's it. One arm overhead, here we go. Remember, you don't have to do all this. If you need a little break, take it. Both arms. That's it. Let's do it again. I always take breaks from time to time, have a little drink of water.
Good. Take a little rhythm for this one.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. You get the hang of it. Let's put one arm up. There. Push you guys. Push you guys. Both arms. Speaking of breathing, let's take a little walk down, talk about breathing. Remember we talked about the talk sing test? If you can't talk the way I'm talking, now bring the intensity down a little bit. Ready? Let's move on. Right here and down. Here. Now, aside from just looking good, which you're going to do, which you're going to do, which you do already, we are going to develop and strengthen some joints. And the area we're going to work right here is the middle deltoid. Let's go up and hold right here. That's it.
All right.
That's it, right in through here. This is a good one. Look at this. See, not only this, strong shoulders. Well, you look good too, but okay, let's shake it. Good.
Hey,
Yeah, get off those arms a little bit, huh?
that's what I'm talking about.
Wrong. Arms up. Ready.
Whoa.
Head down. Let's have elbow to shoulder parallel to the floor. And let's feel bicep in, tricep out. Squeeze bicep, push tricep.
What's that, huh?
Two more. One more time. Good. Let's take a walk. Okay. Not bad, huh? No. Guys, I
So
got
heart of mine been broke 1,000 times. Hey, I'm still singing.
Let's go.
Now, this gives me a little problems with my knees to be jumping like this. So like we said, do the alternate. Do something you can do. You don't have to do every exercise. I'm gonna just walk in place.
How about a turn? You want to walk in place
I
and
can
turn?
do that.
Let's go. Here we go. You
I
know
can
I'm
do
a
this.
boxing fan.
Oh,
You
yes.
know I'm a boxing fan.
Yeah.
Get those arms going. This arm. Here we go. Over the top.
Oh, yes.
Over the top. Over the top. Doesn't it feel good? Put your whole body into it? Yeah. You know what? Let's combine it. Start right here. Go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
How's it feel?
Great.
Let's take a break. Next one.
Hey, all right.
Let me take a little walk with you.
All right. I got what to take that little knee problem.
That's it.
No problem. No shame here.
You walk and you want to bring it back up. Let's go. And then hands back up. Let's go. Here we go. Here. When you do this movement, put the elbow right in the rib cage. Now remember, you guys, why we do it. This hand ready? Let's go. We want to involve all the large muscle groups of the upper body. Aerobic activity is continuous rhythmic flexion extension, large muscle groups. Let's go.
Hey.
Harder. This won't get it done. If you feel good, let's get it on. Good. Bring her down. Nice work.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Nice. Let's take a walk. I have a surprise for you. Let's do another set of push-ups, but this time let's do them this way. And really work the triceps, okay? Let's go. Down. A little bit closer to being underneath the chest. Ready. Let's go. Here.
Well,
That's it.
think I'm gonna have to go for the knees.
I'm right with you, bud. That's it.
Now, this is no competition here. This is a workout for you to feel better. Just do something. Do what you can do.
That means I can stop now? 2 more, you guys. 1 more time. Great, let's bring it back up. Not done yet. Let's go. Very nice, you guys.
Woo! I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Got a little sweat work in there
Yeah,
too,
we
you
do.
know? That's what's nice about it.
Weight falling around here.
Yes.
All right.
Well, be happy. Be happy about this. Oh, who knows?
All right, Mr. Kelberg,
Yes.
do you have any additional questions
Just
for
some
the
very
doctor?
brief questions before we get to another video. Doctor, first of all, I want you to assume that that video series of takes was shot on May 25th, 1994, and all of that was shot in the course of one day with additional taping that day involving the introductory remarks that Mr. Simpson is going to make as part of the ultimate finished product, which I have not shown for purposes of questioning you. First of all, Doctor, in viewing this videotape, did you see Mr. Simpson limp as you say he limped, in the same fashion you saw him limp on June 15, 1994, in a situation that led you to describe it as like Tarzan's grandfather?
There was no clear walking sequence in this area, so I can't actually assess that, but he definitely does have a lot of the same disabilities I talked about.
Doctor, my question, excuse me.
I didn't see a walking segment well enough to totally evaluate his gait.
You saw him in a walking maneuver forward and backwards during the course of the exercise, did you not?
Yes, I did.
My specific question then to you again is, sir, did you see any evidence of the same kind of limp that you say you saw on June 15th that led you to describe Mr. Simpson as walking like Tarzan's grandfather?
In this tape,
Yes or no, doctor?
in this tape he has an altered cadence, but his limp was definitely more pronounced when I saw him on 6/15/94.
Is your answer that you did not see the limp as you say you saw it on the 15th?
That is correct.
Overruled.
And your answer, doctor?
That is correct.
And doctor, would it be accurate to say that none of the activity that you witnessed in this video segment would create the kind of adrenaline rush that you testified one might expect if a person like Mr. Simpson were enraged? Is that correct?
This video would not create an adrenaline rush, this workout video, unless he were very, very nervous about going in front of the camera to give, some of his prepared lines.
Did Mr. Simpson appear nervous to you in delivering any of his lines?
No, he did not.
And so, would it be accurate to say, doctor, that, again, no circumstance here would have caused the kind of adrenaline rush that can lead to exertion beyond normal capability that one might see if a person is in an enraged emotional state? Is that correct?
When a person is in an enraged emotional state, presumably they have more adrenaline than what he would have for this sort of exertion, which the body would still need to call up some mechanism for the exercise. But no, I think that that's a fair statement. He wouldn't have the kind of adrenaline rush you would if hypothetically you were enraged.
Doctor, just a couple other follow-up things. Number one, you found that document, the February 5th, 1995 letter that you sent to Mr. Douglas. You went through your files and you brought it to my attention this morning that you had found it. I just wanted to make sure that's on the record.
Thank you.
And that is correct,
It was
isn't it?
misfiled, but it was in the chart, correct.
Okay. Number two, that you have provided to me, yesterday you provided one page, what is page 215 from some textbook describing as the topic clinical picture of rheumatoid arthritis.
Correct.
And you also provided to me 2 pages pages 876 and 877 of a chapter 52 from a textbook of rheumatology. The chapter is by a physician, a rheumatologist, is he not, Dr. Edward D. Harris, Jr.?
That's correct.
And doctor, these are some of the materials you relied upon in giving your answers to some of my earlier questions?
They were some of the materials, correct.
Doctor, do you consider Dr. Harris to be a preeminent rheumatologist?
I don't know Dr. Harris. He obviously wrote this chapter, but I can't talk about his qualifications, but he certainly did write this chapter in the book.
Assuming he is a board-certified rheumatologist associated with Stanford University School of Medicine, and presently he's on a sabbatical writing an entire part of a team of doctors writing a whole new textbook on rheumatology. If Dr. Harris had reviewed Mr. Simpson's records that you've provided and the report on the x-ray examinations of Dr. Martell and all of the other materials that you've reviewed and concluded that Mr. Simpson was not suffering an acute episode of rheumatoid arthritis on June 12, 1994, and was not suffering an acute episode of rheumatoid arthritis on June 15, 1994, when you saw him, would you accept Dr. Harris's opinion over your own, given his specialty, assuming that that is in fact his finding?
Sustained.
Your Honor, may I be heard on that briefly? People versus Bush.
Sustained.
Doctor, again, you don't hold yourself out as a rheumatologist,
No, I
correct?
don't.
All right. One last thing before getting into another video. You talked about having a test done for toxoplasmosis, correct?
That is correct.
And that was because of something related to a cat?
There was a possibility that there had been a cat at some time.
What was your information and the source of the information as well? It's a compound question, so let me break it down. Number one, did you receive some information regarding a cat exposure on the part of Mr. Simpson?
I'm going to have to go review my notes. That is my recollection, that that he did at some time have exposure to a cat, yes.
Would you please review your notes and see what information you received?
Okay.
And then maybe you can tell us what toxoplasmosis is.
I'm sure the doctor can.
One of the last items on 507.
It is, now, I don't know if it's the entry, the lab report, I can tell you what page.
Well, why don't you direct the doctor's attention so he doesn't have to spend the whole morning going through his
I
records?
just found it
right.
on a note 61794. The patient he has a positive history of cat exposure.
And what is that history if you received it?
That he has a positive history of cat exposure. I don't remember the exact situation, but apparently that was something that I noted down. Obviously, in the differential of adenopathy of a swollen lymph node, that would probably be a test we would ordinarily do anyway in a wide battery of tests looking for a cause of a swollen lymph gland. And the fact that he had cat exposure may have just heightened whatever small suspicion there existed initially.
My question, though, is, doctor, did you get specific information? Well, Mr. Simpson, do you have a cat in the house? Or do you have friends whose house you visit where you've been exposed to a cat? When? Any specific information? Did you inquire of him?
Yes, I did.
And what specific information did he give you, doctor?
He gave me enough information that I felt it was important to run the test that he had been exposed to a cat.
Your Honor, I'll move to strike as non-responsive. The question is, what specific information did he give you? What specific information?
I don't recall the specific information, just enough that I made that note, so I can't answer that exactly.
You didn't write it down?
Yeah, I did write that he had exposure to a cat.
even if you can't tell us specifically, word for word, in substance, what did he tell you as to when he had such exposure?
Obviously, in order for me to write it down, my feeling must have been that he had had recent exposure to a cat. Typically, I'll write down exposure to a cat, or I would have written down exposure to a kitten since obviously kittens have a higher incidence of transmitting toxoplasmosis. If he had had that, I'm sure I would have noted it, or if he would have changed kitten litters, I also would have noted that, or whether he had exposure to various other sources. But that basically was something that I wrote down, and that's all I really recall on it, just what's in the note there.
Just your custom and practice, though, to write it down would indicate to you what proximity in time to June 15th are you focusing on for such exposure to cause you to run the test?
My recollection that it was a minimal exposure and a relatively past exposure, but again, I don't remember the exact. I would have to speculate on that.
And
I know that we had results that we weren't that worried about.
And there's nothing more that you can recall in substance, even if not specifically,
No,
on
there's
Mr.
not.
Simpson's statement to you regarding cat exposure?
No, there's not.
One last thing, x-rays. I think you said on direct that at least you didn't use one x-ray, but you said x-rays, and I'm not sure it's one or meant to be more than one. Were x-rays taken on June 15th, 1994?
Yes, they were.
How many?
2 x-rays.
What area or areas of the body?
Chest.
Why did you take them?
Trying to further evaluate a possible cause of his lymph node under his right arm.
And what was the result? Did you evaluate the x-rays?
I did, and I had them overread by a radiologist.
A specialist in reading x-rays, is that correct?
Chest x-ray, correct.
The results were?
Normal.
Do you have the reports?
No, I don't.
Was a report generated?
No, I physically brought it to the head chest radiologist at Cedars and asked him.
Doctor, did you ever on the 15th have x-rays taken of Mr. Simpson's knees,
No, I did not.
hands,
No, I did not.
elbows?
No, I did not.
Any of the areas where he may have had past evidence of rheumatoid arthritis?
We don't take orthopedic x-rays in our office, and basically, given the time constraints and the fact that he had no urgent need to see an orthopedist for those problems, given the prioritization of his health problems, those things weren't done.
And no urgent need, including no evidence on June 15th that suggested to you an acute onset of rheumatoid arthritis, correct?
There was evidence of significant joint problems. There was no evidence that getting x-rays would help those joint problems, and that was a cost-efficacious, appropriate thing to do given his schedule and his needs at that time.
But my question is, no evidence of an acute onset of symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis
Well-
requiring you at that time to have him evaluated.
At that time, all I knew was that he had a rheumatologist and that he had continuing joint pains. And as I've told you before, my suspicion of a flare, slight or otherwise, really came later when the full details of the case became apparent to me. As I said, when he came in the office, he was limping. He had joint complaints that I elicited, but really that wasn't the focus of his complaints, and I proceeded accordingly based on my assessment of the prioritizations of his health problems.
I have just a moment. One last topic, Doctor, another video. I'm going to ask, Your Honor, that a video which has on the label the letter N-SAT, S-A-T number 1, 4-5-94, 60 minutes, NSA, William Bearden, B-E-A-R-D-E-N, Company, 31 March 1994, be marked as, I think it's 522.
522, videotape. How long is this videotape?
The segment I am going to play is, I would say, Your Honor, less than about, I think it's about 10 minutes or less.
All right, proceed.
And, Your Honor, if I don't do this now, I'll probably forget. There were several photographs duplicated off the Elmo that I did not mark yesterday as exhibits. I'm going to ask that they be marked. Perhaps we can do it at the recess with the appropriate designation. So I'll ask Mr. Farrell, I've had it queued up to the segment. And Doctor, I'm going to ask you to assume that this is Mr. Simpson at the end of March 1994 at a motivational seminar for a product called Juice Plus. And he's going to be introduced, and he's going to be speaking to a group at this motivational seminar. And the portion I'm going to have Mr. Fairtlow play will include a discussion by Mr. Simpson of his past problems and his present health as he views it.
I'm going to object to his comments improper. It's not a question.
Overruled. Proceed. Proceed.
Every approach is to make a record.
Proceed. You've made your objection. It's on the record. Proceed. I take it this is a setup for a hype. I take.
It is, Your Honor. I have another objection.
All right, then make it at the recess. Proceed.
Welcome, the Juice, O.J. Simpson.
Thank you very much. I tell you. Oh man, I get. Thank you. Thank you. I get teary. I truly get teary every time I see that tape, you know? I want to play again. I want to be able to play again. That tape gets to me. You know, like Smokey. I guess Smokey spoke yesterday, and I was just talking to him backstage, and I was asking him, well, what do they want to hear? And Smokey is like me. I'm not really good at giving a lot of speeches. As a matter of fact, I hate hearing speeches, so I tend to get up and babble and, like Smokey, try to say what's on my mind and just try to, you know, talk about something that might be germane to what we're all here for. He asked me to sort of explain how I got involved with Juice Plus, and for some of you who were at Memphis a few weeks ago, this might be a little redundant, so I'll go through it as quickly as I can to let the ones that weren't there know how I originally got involved with this product. I was at a time where I was having a pretty tough time because I got hit by what they call, some of you might have it as rheumatoid arthritis. I had the beginnings of rheumatoid arthritis, and I was having really a tough time. I actually had mornings that I could not open my door. I could not turn my wrist because my wrists, my fingers, my elbows would all get swollen up. They had me on, you name it, Naprosyn, Indocin, Motrin. I had so much Motrin, you couldn't even believe, you know. Every day, this was my life. And my neighbor's a guy named Frank Joel, who may be the best orthopedic surgeon in the world. He rebuilt Tommy John's arm and stuff. He's telling me about this simple little operation that they can do with both my wrists to relieve some of the pain. And I know this is something we don't really get into in this product. We can't really talk about. So when he's telling me about all of this stuff, and I'm thinking about it, because one thing that I can't do anymore, because I had gone to a nutritionist, is I can't drink orange juice. That's the only reason Rush Limbaugh got that job in Florida, is because I can't drink orange juice anymore. Yeah. Stuff like orange juice and grapefruit juice and tomatoes, if any of you have arthritis out there, you know that's almost the worst stuff that you can put in your body because of the acidity that's involved in it. And I was one of these guys who drank the quart of orange juice every day. So as he's telling me about it, I said, you know, I'm going to have to try this stuff. I said, well, I'll call home and get him to send it to me. Well, he said, no, I got it right here. He had a whole bag of it right there. So for the next few months, along with, once again, changing my diet and stuff, I started taking regularly Juice Plus. And started feeling, I don't know if it was mind over matter, it was a mental thing, but almost immediately I started feeling better. All of a sudden I was getting another 10 yards on my drive and then before I knew it, I just started skipping the Naprosyn and skipping the Indocin and skipping the pain pills, the Advil. I mean, I was one of these guys with 6, 7 Advils a day, you know, and until the day where I don't have to take anything. And my thought at the time was, I contacted Smokey, we talked, and I said, hey man, how can I become a distributor of this stuff? I said, you guys are going to make a fortune with this product. I want to get involved. And it was about that time that he said, well, why don't you come work for us? And he had evidently talked to John Blair in the interim. And John called, and we had a meeting in New York. They flew up to New York, and we talked. And once again, I'm trying to figure out how I could become a distributor of this product. And they're saying to me, John says, well, you know, that might be tough, but why don't you come on board with the parent company, and why don't you become a teammate of all our distributors? Why don't you get out there and help all our distributors, and we make it worth your while?
I've asked Mr. Shapiro to stop the tape at that point. Doctor, you've had a chance, obviously, to listen to that. The history is given by Mr. Simpson of his present medical status, where he no longer had to take any of the pain medication. Would that suggest somebody who is in a condition better than, as you described him based on his walk, Tarzan's grandfather?
At the time he made this tape, which you have told me was 494.
No, I said, Your Honor, I'm sorry, Doctor, I said at the end of March 1994.
The end of March, okay.
Or approximately 2.5 months before you saw him.
Okay. It sounded like, based on his statements, if you can believe everyone that makes an advertisement, and certainly being around the Raiders, we used to laugh about it in the locker room, the products that they would support and do something totally different, including wearing shoes that were totally different than the sponsor that they were endorsing on TV and taping over the logo, and various other vitamin products which they readily admitted were worthless that they then went out and pitched. However, given if you assume that pitchmen can be taken at their word, then I think obviously he was doing better, but it's very misleading when he says he had acute flares of rheumatoid arthritis, which is based on the history I have gotten from Dr. Maltz and Dr. Job, something that they both felt. Again, I wasn't there. It's very difficult for your doctor, with all due respect, to make a diagnosis on paper. Medicine isn't practiced that way. Usually what you do is you take a history and you do an examination, and then you come to a diagnosis. And fortunately, medicine hasn't gotten to the stage yet where you call up a professor that writes a chapter, and over the phone, you make a diagnosis. We still do rely on history and physical in medicine, at least to the best of my knowledge based on my training at Harvard. However, it is very misleading because if you believe the rheumatologist, if you believe the orthopedist, and I have no reason to doubt their reports stating that when they both last saw him in 1993 in July, he was having an acute flare of rheumatoid arthritis, which was so severe he had difficulty bending down to tie his shoe. But I have no reason to doubt their report. And if you believe that report, and if you believe that the medication he was on, sulfasalazine, has some disease-remitting qualities, is a disease-modifying agent in rheumatoid arthritis, it's not surprising that he might be doing quite well, because at that time that he gave that motivational speech, he was on a significant anti-rheumatoid arthritis medication. Also, the disease rheumatoid arthritis, again, I'm just a jack of all trades, and I probably wouldn't know, has a fluctuating course. And that's really would be my comment on that tape.
Doctor, you were apprised this tape was going to be played before you came into court this morning, didn't you?
I've never seen that tape.
Well, you were told that there was going to be a motivational speech tape played of Mr. Simpson making this, didn't you?
I was never told this tape was going to be played by anyone.
Did you prepare that answer in advance, expecting
No, I did
a question?
not. No, I
All
did
right.
not.
Let me ask it this way then, Doctor. You're saying that Mr. Simpson was merely a pitchman who was lying to the people there because what he said about his health was not true, based on your experience with the Raiders. Is that what you're saying, Doctor?
I'm giving all those as possibilities. I do not know his condition.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
He is entitled to finish his answer.
If it's responsive, I suggest...
Well, I didn't even hear, I heard 4 words out of the doctor's mouth.
I'm sorry, I thought I heard the end of the sentence.
Doctor, go ahead and finish your answer.
Could you repeat the question?
Doctor, you are saying, are you not, that Mr. Simpson, when he's giving his medical condition up there, is lying to those people? That in fact, that does not represent his condition. Isn't that what you're saying by relating this to your experience with the NFL players?
Sustain, rephrase the question.
Doctor, you're suggesting that Mr. Simpson is not being truthful. with these people regarding his medical condition because he views himself as a pitchman for a product, as a result of which he's willing to say things that are not true to please the people paying him to make the speech. Is that what you're suggesting?
Overruled.
You may answer the question, Doctor.
I cannot get inside Mr. Simpson's head. I do know that he had a lack of understanding of his rheumatoid arthritis. He constantly denied the fact that he had rheumatoid arthritis. He did not want to see himself as a arthritic patient. And so I can't say whether it was a full lack of understanding of his disease that led him to not understand the possible effect of the anti-rheumatoid arthritis medication he was taking at the time of that speech, or whether he was knowingly misrepresenting to make money. I have no idea, and I'm not qualified to say.
Well, doctor, if he was being truthful about his condition, that he wasn't making false statements just to please somebody paying him, then, in fact, he is saying his condition is such, I don't need the pills anymore, as of this time. Isn't that what he's saying?
Sustained.
Doctor, by the way, you were in the courtroom yesterday afternoon when I read a summary, a transcript summary of what was going to be played this morning when we were discussing this as being the last piece of evidence that I would use in cross-examining you. You were in the courtroom, weren't you, sir?
I have no idea.
Overruled. You can answer the question.
I don't know if I was in the courtroom or not because I didn't hear what you said, so I'm not sure where I was since I didn't. How would I know if I was in the courtroom if I didn't hear what you said?
Doctor, did you leave the courtroom before the courtroom was cleared of all press yesterday afternoon at the completion of court business?
I
Had you left before the press left the courtroom?
I left after everyone filed out.
And so, doctor, is it your statement here that if this was a motion argued in the presence of the press with a representation made by me to the court as to what this videotape was going to say, if you were here, you didn't hear what I was saying at the time I was making this offer of proof to the court?
Overruled.
You may answer the question, doctor.
I did not hear or follow any motion you made or follow that whatsoever, no.
Now, doctor, you said that you wouldn't rely upon a Dr. Harris, and I represent, he's a board-certified rheumatologist and a preeminent expert in the field of rheumatology.
Overruled.
You said you wouldn't rely on that over Dr. Maltz and Dr. Job who saw him. Is that correct?
I said I would not rely on any individual who reviewed a chart without doing an appropriate history and physical at that time and seeing the patient.
In general, doctor, would you rely on a board-certified rheumatologist over a doctor who held himself out as a rheumatologist who was neither board-certified in internal medicine or in rheumatology?
Overruled.
As Dr. Maltz, in fact, is?
Sustained.
As an offer of proof?
Sustained.
All right, I'll leave out that last phrase and ask the doctor to answer it.
Rephrase the question,
All
counsel.
right. Doctor, would you, all things being equal, rely upon an evaluation by a board-certified rheumatologist over an opinion offered on an issue of rheumatology, rheumatoid arthritis, from a person who was an orthopedic surgeon or a person who held himself out as a specialist in rheumatology who was neither board-certified in internal medicine or board-certified in rheumatology?
Sustained.
Doctor, would you accept the opinion of someone holding himself out as a rheumatologist who was not board-certified in either internal medicine or in rheumatology over the opinion of a specialist board-certified in rheumatology on the issue of a rheumatoid arthritis acute onset?
The whole issue of experts is very difficult. In medicine, you have to see the patient.
Overruled. He can answer the question.
All right.
There are various definitions of an expert, but basically any doctor, to be an expert, obviously needs to be very knowledgeable, needs to have appropriate training, needs to be have shown proficiency in what he does, and needs to, in addition, have other traits, including caring about people and things of that nature. I mean, there are other definitions of an expert. And just to give you an idea, at Harvard, you know, there's a mean streak in there. And I remember as a student being told, you know, an expert is a bastard from Boston with slides. Just because you've got a big degree doesn't mean everything. You need to see a patient. You need to do the building blocks of medicine. And that's a history, and that's a physical examination, and an evaluation of all the results. I still think that is the way to practice medicine. I do not know of the other specialists. All things considered, the more training, the more proficiency is superior. But I think it's very dangerous to compare credentials and base a diagnosis based on who's got the longest CV. I think that's a dangerous step. That's my own personal opinion.
Doctor, you have Dr. Job's records, do you not?
Yes, I do.
Would you pull out, if you would, his one-page evaluation from July 13th, 1993?
I can find it.
Kelberg, do you have that immediately available, an extra copy?
Mine is marked, which I have no problem in showing the doctor.
Save us.
Stay up here too.
You may. Save us a little time here.
Now, doctor, this is the last report from Dr. Job, the orthopedic surgeon, prior to your evaluation of June 15th, 1994, correct?
Yes, it is.
And it's dated July 13th of 1993, is that correct?
That's correct.
And it indicates that certain x-rays were taken of Mr. Simpson's right elbow, correct?
That is correct.
And it indicates that in the opinion of Dr. Job, that the x-rays are within normal limits but show early findings of rheumatoid arthritis. Is that correct?
That's what it says here, correct.
Now, doctor, did you receive a copy of a June 28, 1995, two-page report from a Dr. William Martell, a doctor with the University of Michigan, the letter directed to Dr. Maltz?
Yes, I received a copy of that.
And in essence, Dr. Martell is a specialist in radiology, which you've identified already as people who specialize in reading x-rays.
That is correct.
And in essence, what Dr. Maltz had asked is for Dr. Martell to review the available x-rays of Mr. Simpson from 91, 92, and 93. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And there were no other x-rays after the 93 x-rays to provide that dealt with the areas in question, the hands, the wrists, the feet, the elbows, correct?
That's correct.
Now, with respect to what Dr. Job has indicated as x-ray findings of the right elbow showing normal limits but early findings of rheumatoid arthritis, was a reading of that x-ray also taken by Dr. Martell? And I'll show you the report. And, Your Honor, may this be marked as 522, please?
About 523.
523, I'm sorry.
What's the date on that letter?
The letter is dated June 28, 1995 to Dr. Maltz.
All right, this is by Dr. Martell, however.
Correct.
All right. 523.
And these elbow x-rays, are those from Maltz's office or Job's office? Do we know?
Well, doctor, what is the date that is shown on those x-rays?
The date is July 13, 1993, and he was seen by both Dr. Job and Dr. Maltz on that same day. So I don't know whose x-rays, but it probably doesn't make a difference.
All right, well, since you've said it doesn't probably make a difference, did you find any indication by Dr. Martell of his assessment of the elbows?
He did make an assessment of the elbows.
And what did he indicate in his assessment of the elbows?
His assessment of the elbows, frontal and lateral views of both elbows show no significant abnormalities. However, as I'm sure you're aware...
Your Honor, I'll move to strike as non-responsive.
All right. Next question.
Did you also, by the way, receive from Dr. Maltz a copy of a July handwritten chart entry for an evaluation of Mr. Simpson in the county jail?
I assume I did.
I may have just a moment, Your Honor, to find. I'm sorry, Your Honor, may I just have a moment to find the report?
That's why we have Post-its.
I'm sorry?
That's why we have Post-its.
In the county, it's kind of sometimes tough to find them. I believe this is the one I wish to use. Yes, I believe so, Your Honor. I'm going to have to get a clean copy, and I will get it from another source. But I would ask that this document, which has the counting number 505, be marked as 524.
All right, and what is this?
It appears to be a handwritten note of Dr. Maltz's, a rheumatology note, and because of the copy that was provided to the prosecution, I cannot be certain what the month date is, but the day is 2/94. And I'm going to show, perhaps, Doctor, at a break, if we get there, you have a chance to find your copy, maybe it'll have the month. This is Dr. Maltz's handwritten note of an evaluation of Mr. Simpson, is that correct?
That is correct.
And I want to invite your attention to the second paragraph. Can you read what Dr. Maltz has written there?
The copy's a little bit poor. You're going to have to help me there.
Does it appear to be main problem presently is classical increased activity of his rheumatoid disease, with the left knee being his major limiting factor in terms of pain. I can't make out the next word. And swelling.
Gel?
The word that we can't make out may be gel. Let me back it up. What I read to begin with, does that sound what it appears to you to be? Main problem presently is classical increased activity of his rheumatoid disease, with the left knee being his major limiting factor in terms of pain, the word we can't decipher, and swelling.
Yes.
And that indicates to you, does it not, Doctor, that Dr. Maltz, believed that Mr. Simpson has evidence of rheumatoid arthritis in his left knee, correct?
I'm not sure that's what it said, no.
Well, Doctor, doesn't it say...
It says he has evidence. This is my interpretation. You'll have to ask Dr. Maltz. It'd probably be more appropriate. But if I read that, it says he's got evidence of rheumatoid arthritis with, and this is a different part, his left knee being his major limiting factor. That's how I read it, but you may have read it differently.
Well, don't you read it as the relationship between the rheumatoid arthritis and the limiting aspect on his left knee?
We have to ask Dr. Maltz that. I wouldn't assume that.
Well, let's ask you to look then at Dr. Martel's report and see if in the summary he evaluates the left knee x-rays for evidence of inflammatory disease, which rheumatoid arthritis would be. Isn't that correct?
Rheumatoid arthritis is an inflammatory disease.
And in the summary, with respect to the left knee, does he not say the following? The abnormality noted in the left knee is degenerative rather than inflammatory in nature and probably secondary to earlier trauma.
That's what's said here.
And that would indicate that Mr. Simpson, at least based upon that x-ray, does not show evidence of rheumatoid arthritis in the left knee joint, but rather has the effects of osteoarthritis from previous trauma, correct?
There's definitely osteoarthritis in his left knee, but we have a biopsy that is strongly consistent with rheumatoid arthritis of the synovium taken in 1991. So I think there's some question about that, and there are some subtleties that I certainly am not, in a position to discuss with you.
Well, Dr. Martel, you would agree, is an expert in radiology, which you are not.
That is correct.
And according to his report, the left knee does not show evidence of inflammatory disease. It shows osteoarthritis. Right?
That is correct. However, as the elbow, sometimes you can have rheumatoid arthritis in a joint and not have x-ray changes. So I would be very careful. And again, I don't want to present myself as an expert, but I wouldn't jump to simple conclusions based on the fact that an x-ray shows degenerative, not rheumatoid arthritis, that joint cannot be involved with by and in rheumatoid arthritis.
All right, Mr. Kelberg, we're going to need take our break.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take our mid-morning recess at this time. Remember all my admonitions to you. Doctor, you can step down. You're ordered to come back in 15 minutes. Let me see the counsel with the court reporter, please. In the Simpson matter, all parties are again present. Mr. Kelberg, did you find that document you needed?
I'm satisfied that the document I showed him is the area I wanted to inquire on.
And what area is this?
I'm sorry.
What area is this, Mr. Kelberg?
I'm trying to suggest to the court that I don't think I'm going to have any more examination,
Okay, good. That's it?
just to mark the exhibits.
All right.
We'll so stipulate it.
Let's have the jurors, please. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Let the record reflect we've been rejoined by all the members of our jury panel. Mr. Kelberg, do you have some items you need to mark?
I do, Your Honor. These again are from the Elmo that we had produced yesterday during the examination. The photograph of the formal diagram that Dr. Huizenga included in our Exhibit 507, I asked to be marked as 507A.
All right, 507A.
The photograph with the two areas of abrasion that is a part of the sequence of, a part of the photograph of 516, I'd ask to be marked as 516A.
516A.
The, another photograph that showed that abrasion to the left thumb from photograph 518B be marked as 518B as in boy.
So marked.
And we have a clean copy of the July 13th, 1993 report, Your Honor. And I'm sorry, I did lose track of the designations. I believe that that was going to be 523. Dr. Job's one.
I have that. I have 523 as the 628 Dr. Martell.
Okay, then it's the exhibit number right after the video, I believe. It should be the next in order, and the video
Well,
was
the
motivational video.
motivational video I have is 522. Mr. Iverson, does that correlate with your?
So 523, Your Honor, would be then Dr. Martell's report.
Correct. I have 524 as a handwritten note of Dr. Maltz.
Okay. Then let me make, if I could, if I didn't specifically, make Dr. Job's one-page July 13th, 1993 typewritten document as 525.
All right, Dr. Job's note.
And with that, Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Thank you. Mr. Shapiro.
Thank you very kindly, Your Honor. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning again, Dr. Huizenga.
Morning.
Dr. Huizenga, are you familiar with the term forensic medicine?
Yes, I am.
And are you familiar with the term forensic physician?
Yes, I am.
What is your understanding of that term, or those terms?
Those are terms that deal with the study of things that happen essentially after death, with a obvious bent towards law and, pathology of medicine as it relates to that.
And the term forensic, as it applies in the court setting, deals with people who deal with legal issues related to their specialty. Is that correct?
Correct.
Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Is that something you do?
No, it's absolutely not what I do.
Is that something you want to do?
No, no desire whatsoever.
I take it that your primary focus is the private practice of medicine.
That is correct.
Now, you've indicated that you graduated from Harvard Medical School. At the time you went to Harvard Medical School, how was that rated in the spectrum of medical schools in the country?
I think in terms of the rating by the deans and the difficulty in getting in, it was probably the hardest school to get in.
And upon graduation, you applied for a residency.
That is correct.
And are there different residencies around the country?
There are many different residencies around the program, around the country, right?
And just like schools, do residencies differ in their programs and their prestige?
Again, it's difficult to exactly quantitate, but there's different levels of prestige and levels of quality and difficulty in getting in.
And where did you take your residency?
At Cedars-Sinai Hospital, as a subset of the UCLA medical system.
And is that here in Los Angeles?
Yes, it is.
And how was that program rated at the time you were accepted?
That was very highly regarded at that time.
How many residents were in the program when you were there?
There were approximately 30.
And is there a position called chief resident?
Yes, there is.
What is that position?
Typically, 2 individuals from that class are chosen to teach the oncoming residents and to lead morning report and to round with the younger residents for educational purposes.
And on what basis are the chief residents selected?
Well, presumably they're chosen by the chief of medicine based on whoever shows the most promise in terms of teaching and other physician attributes.
In terms of teaching, in addition to your private practice of medicine, have you maintained any teaching positions?
Yes, I have.
What teaching positions have you maintained?
As a clinical professor of medicine at UCLA.
And what subjects have you taught to the students at UCLA in medical school?
Introduction to medicine, as well as attending for medical students and the residents on ward rounds.
Now, you've told us also that you were a doctor for the Los Angeles Raiders, a football team.
Yes, I was.
How many other doctors had that position for teams in the Los Angeles area?
There was one other team in the Los Angeles area, and there was one other internist for that team. And then during my tenure with the Los Angeles Raiders, there was also another football team that was there temporarily, so there was an internist for that team as well.
Is that viewed as a prestigious position?
I believe it's viewed as a prestigious position.
And it's the type of job many doctors would like to get?
I believe that's true.
And you resigned from that position?
Yes, I did.
And you resigned because of your integrity?
I resigned.
Your Honor, leading and suggesting.
Rephrase the question.
Why did you resign from that position after how many years? How many years did you serve in that position?
I served in that position for 8 years.
And why did you resign from that position?
I resigned from that position because the team owner would not listen when I described in detail an incident that happened with the team orthopedist regarding an incident where a player was temporarily paralyzed, and essentially, to make a very tragic story short, was told face to face by the orthopedic surgeon after he had information that said there was a problem in his cervical spine, that he was potentially at higher risk, according to numerous specialists of the neck, orthopedic neck specialists and neurosurgeons. He was looked at by the team orthopedist in his face and said, based on that x-ray, you're okay, you can play next week. And of course, I, as all these types of problems, went behind the scenes and made sure he got other opinions. But when the owner didn't back my position on this, that's why I resigned.
Is it a matter of personal integrity?
Yes, it was.
And do you value that?
Yes, I do.
How do you value that? How highly? How strongly? Are you concerned
That's all I
about your
have as a
integrity?
physician, is my reputation, which I've worked hard to build over the last 21 years since I entered medicine.
In the private practice of medicine, do you function as an individual doctor for the purposes of your own income?
Yes, I do.
And how long have you done that?
I've been in a private practice since approximately 1983, 1984.
I've been reminded that some people might have some difficulty hearing. Would you be kind enough to maybe move
Sure.
the microphone a little bit further? And you are in what's called a group of doctors?
Yes, we share office
So
space.
you share the overhead,
Correct.
but your patients and your income is your own?
That is correct.
And one of the doctors that you share office space with is my personal physician, Robert Cochran?
That is correct.
Are there other doctors there?
There are other doctors there.
And are they similarly involved in internal medicine?
Yes, they are.
And in the degree of reputation, what is the reputation of the group of doctors that you're with?
I believe we have an absolutely impeccable reputation.
What are the other doctors who are included in your group now that practice out of the same office?
Dr. Derwin,
What's his first name?
Arnold,
Okay, and who else?
that's it for
So
right now.
The three doctors. As a private practitioner, the source of your income for which you rely upon a living is patients.
That is correct.
Do you advertise to get patients?
No, I do not advertise.
Do you solicit patients?
No, I do not.
How do you get patients to build a medical practice?
Basically, over a period of time, individuals that feel you're providing them high-quality medicine will refer acquaintances, friends, or family members.
And was that the case with O.J. Simpson?
That was the case with O.J. Simpson.
He was referred by someone who knew you,
That is correct.
and that was myself.
That's correct.
And you have no experience in crime scene investigations, do you?
None whatsoever.
And you've told this jury already that you have never before testified in a case.
That is correct.
Do you ever want to testify again in a case?
I think one may be enough here.
What was your focus when you saw O.J. Simpson on the 15th of June, 1994?
I think my focus was the same focus I have with every patient, and that's that I sit them down in my office and ask them, you know, what are your problems, and try to figure out if there are any other things going on that they may not be aware of, and essentially formulate a plan for their health. I, you know, approached him like I approach every other patient in my office, and really, besides requesting from you a photographer, given the fact that you told me on the phone he had cuts, really did nothing else different than I would do for another first-time office visit, thorough physical examination.
So what you're saying is, in addition to the general examination that was requested by the patient, there was something additional, and that was to take photographs.
Sustain, rephrase the question.
Would you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, in addition to the history and physical examination of Mr. Simpson, was there something additional that was requested by myself?
Yes, there was.
What was that?
Photographs of his hands.
Photographs of anything else, any other part of his body?
The remainder of the body as well, to document whether or not there were any other injuries.
Outside of that, was there anything else that was requested of you when you saw Mr. Simpson as a patient that was out of the ordinary?
No, there was not.
Has there been, have you met with anybody in preparation for your testimony here today?
I talked with you on the phone on Thursday for approximately, you came to my office on Thursday evening for approximately 15 to 20 minutes on Thursday night. I finished up seeing patients, at approximately 7:30 to 8 o'clock on Thursday night. I had not prepared whatsoever any special material, and you came and gave me an idea what sorts of things you would be asking on Thursday evening. Before that, I had one meeting at Mr. Cochran's office somewhere around the 1st, where there were a group of attorneys. You were present as well as the other attorneys, and I stood up and gave a brief summary of Mr. Simpson's medical problems.
And then you also watched the video
And
with some of the
Sunday,
lawyers.
which was in the middle of it, you said prepared before, Sunday in the middle of this testimony, I went and watched the video that actually didn't get to see this video. I saw the final product.
Were you given any instructions by myself or any other lawyer as to how to testify in this case?
Yes, I was.
And what were those instructions?
Tell the truth.
Have you in any way tried to mislead this jury based on your medical findings and observations of Mr. Simpson on June the 15th?
No, I haven't.
Have you in any way compromised your integrity?
I don't believe I have.
Now, as a physician, do you develop a rapport with your patients?
Yes, I do.
And do you care about your patients?
Yes, I do.
And would you say that's true of your relationship with Mr. Simpson?
Yes, it is.
Do you care about Mr.
Yes,
Simpson?
I do.
Do you care about his state of health?
Yes, I do.
Based on the standard practices for physicians in the Beverly Hills, West Los Angeles area, is there a general standard of practice for a first evaluation of a patient?
Yes, there is.
Would you relate to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that is?
Generally, when you see a first-time new patient, you sit them down in your office and talk for approximately a half an hour to 45 minutes to even an hour, and essentially then move and do a physical examination that typically takes somewhere around a half an hour to complete. And then the nurse gets the patient either in the middle of that process or at the end to do all the vital signs, to draw blood for tests, to do chest x-rays, to do a hearing test and a vision test if that is needed. And then essentially, occasionally, if it's appropriate, other things that may be done, such as seeing a dietitian in the office.
Now, your specialty is internal medicine?
Yes, it is.
Is that also known as general medicine?
Yes, it is.
Would you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that entails and what
Well,
your function is as a doctor in that area?
Basically, you are someone, a family doctor, quote unquote, is someone who did their 4 years of medical school, did 1 year of internship, and then he hangs his shingle. An internist basically does that first year where you kind of take all comers, but then you do an additional 2 years where you do essentially the same thing to hopefully get a little bit more understanding of those problems. And then in my case, I did an extra year of chief residency, all basically evaluating every different subspecialty. So my role is to try to see if I can take care of all of your problems. Obviously, there's certain, I might be better in kidney disease and not so great in dermatology, or I might be very good in orthopedics for an internist and not so great in something like rheumatology. And then you basically, if you can handle their problems and you feel comfortable with their complaints, the buck stops there. You make the decisions and you devise a treatment plan. If that's not the case, then you make arrangements to have them see a second opinion, a subspecialist who you're going to know something about that area, but they hopefully will know somewhat more, and then you refer them to that appropriate specialist.
And approximately how many subspecialists are there that you would refer people to, just generally?
In terms of the classes of subspecialties, probably 15 or 20, although you can get very technical and you can break down some subspecialties, even something like orthopedics, into people that do mostly ankles, knees, or shoulders, or neck, or back. But I would say 15 or 20 is a pretty good estimate.
Now, regarding O.J. Simpson, did you conduct the examination that you described to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury as being a proper initial patient evaluation?
Yes, I did. Possibly because it, I believe, took about 2 hours. Maybe in terms of doing the history and in terms of including time for the photographs, maybe it went an extra 15, 30 minutes over what I would normally spend because we were pushed back, as I said, an hour into our afternoon.
Now, in terms of a physical examination, is there any real limitation on what a doctor can do in examining a human being?
No, basically what you do is you start out and there's a standard examination. In other words, if you look at, say, something like the stomach, you can just do the routine things, which might be to listen to see if there's bowel sounds, to see if the intestines, the abdomen is symmetrical, to feel if there are any masses or there's any tenderness, or to obviously, I think I mentioned already, listen. If any of those are abnormal, that's the screening, let's just say, of the abdomen. Look, listen, palpate. If any of those are abnormal, then for each abnormality, there are 10 more things that you could then move into. But there's, you know, you can't do every test on every person, or you essentially would be there for 12 hours.
I mean, there are some examinations that perhaps the President of the United States would get on a yearly examination, or heads of other states that might require a hospitalization and a battery of tests over a period of days. Isn't that correct?
Your Honor, leading, argumentative, and irrelevant.
It is, but I'll allow the answer because it'll be yes or no.
Yes?
Okay. So there are limitations within an initial examination. Did you feel that within those limitations, a proper initial examination was done of Mr. Simpson?
Yes, I did. In addition to which, again, dictating the report would be a little bit unusual. Usually you take cryptic notes and just noting certain things. So that would be the only other unusual thing about this evaluation.
Now, in doing an initial evaluation, are there certain areas that you do not go into in depth unless you find problems?
Yes.
And if you find problems, is it then your job to see if the person is being treated by somebody in those areas?
Yes.
Did you find, first let me ask you, when people see, do you have patients that see you on a routine basis?
Yes, I do.
You're called their regular doctor?
That is correct.
And do they come in for annual examinations?
Yes, they do.
In your history, did you find out whether O.J. Simpson had such a doctor in the last 5 years?
I did find that information out.
And what was that information?
He does not have a regular doctor that he saw on regular basis for internal medicine.
But he did have specialists that he saw?
Yes, he did.
Now, you've told us that you are, in response to a question by Mr. Kelberg, are you board certified in emergency medicine?
No, I am not.
Are you board certified in any type of medicine?
Internal medicine.
And that's what you practice?
That's correct.
And that's the reason Mr. Simpson saw you?
That is correct.
Sustain. Rephrase that last
Did
one.
Mr. Simpson see you for sutures on an emergency basis of his finger?
No, he did not.
What did he see you for?
Mr. Simpson saw me for an acute stress reaction, situational depression, difficulty sleeping.
And from that, you took a history?
That is correct.
And did that lead you to investigate other areas of his health during
Yes,
that
it did.
history? And investigating other areas of his health, you have told us that he had a condition and a disease known as arthritis.
That is correct.
Now, you've been cross-examined for about 2 days by Mr. Kelberg on arthritis.
Correct.
Are you a specialist in arthritis?
No, I am not.
If Mr. Simpson had no other doctor and you were the first person who saw this condition, would you have referred him to someone else?
Yes, I would.
And what would you have referred him for?
Arthritis.
And you would refer him to a specialist in that area.
That's correct.
And regarding the orthopedic now let me just ask you this. Was there, after that examination for 2 days, is there any question in your mind as of June 15th, 1994, whether or not O.J. Simpson suffered from arthritis?
No, there's no question in my mind.
How certain are you of that?
I'm as certain as I can be.
Would you say within a reasonable degree of medical certainty?
Yes, I would. They say something, in medicine, when you're standing in Montana and you hear hoofbeats coming behind you, it could be zebras, but it's horses. I mean, that's what you have to see. And in his case, he had absolutely, without question, multiple areas where he had arthritis.
Is there anything in the 2 days of examination by Mr. Kelberg going over all minutia, all the reports, every
Sustain, it's argumentative. Phrase the question.
Is there anything in the 2 days of examination of Mr. Kelberg on the issue of arthritis that changes your opinion as to whether or not on June 15th Mr. Simpson suffered from arthritis?
No.
Did you do a physical examination of the joints of Mr. Simpson?
Yes, I did.
And did you come to any conclusions regarding his orthopedic condition?
He had abnormal joints on examination.
If Mr. Simpson did not have a specialist in orthopedist, an orthopedist, would you have referred him to one?
Yes, I would have.
Are you familiar with the name of the orthopedist that Mr. Simpson was seeing, Dr. Frank Jobe?
Yes, I am.
What is his reputation?
He is, by reputation, one of the best sports orthopedic surgeons in the country.
If, as a hypothetical, that a doctor of Dr. Jobe's reputation, education, and experience evaluated Mr. Simpson and referred him to a rheumatologist named Dr. Bertram Maltz, would you, as a doctor, expect your patient, Mr. Simpson, to follow that advice and go see Dr. Maltz?
Yes, I would.
And to your knowledge, was that done?
Yes, it was.
And was that done 3.5 years ago?
Yes, it was.
And to your knowledge, was Mr. Simpson treated for the last 3.5 years for arthritis?
Yes, he was.
And do you believe that that was to set up some type of defense for a crime that would be committed 5 years or 4 years later?
I would not believe that, no.
Do you believe it was some type of charade to fool Dr. Maltz 3.5 years ago that he was suffering from a condition and treated for a condition that he didn't have?
No.
Do you have any doubt about that?
No.
You have told us that as a team doctor, many athletes don't want to admit injuries because that would prevent them from playing. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that would be your job, whether or not somebody was capable of playing or not. Isn't that true?
If it was on a non-orthopedic, non-joint problem, yes.
So you are used to people not giving you a complete, accurate history. Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
And would you say you may be more used to that than ordinary doctors who practice internal medicine because of your experience in the NFL?
I believe that's an accurate statement.
And your experience in the NFL as a internist, how many other doctors were acting in a professional capacity advising teams in the National Football League when you were involved?
There were somewhere in the 70 to 80 range in terms of doctors that were affiliated with the 28 professional NFL football teams.
And is there an organization of those doctors? Was there an organization of
Yes,
doctors?
there is.
And did you maintain any position within that organization?
Yes, I did.
What position did you maintain?
In 1987, I was elected vice president, president-elect, and was president of the NFL Physician Society from 1989 to 1991.
Now, Mr. Kelberg went through part of your curriculum that I did not bring up, and that was things that you have done on television and on radio.
Correct.
Were you selected to appear in certain venues on radio and television because of your expertise?
Sustain. Phrase the question.
Do you know why you were selected to appear on certain radio and television shows?
I believe so.
And what is your belief?
Sustain.
What areas did you discuss on radio and television?
Typically, issues revolving around medicine and sports.
And is that something that you believe you have an expert